Strategy number 5, the 5 principles of success. The most successful people in the world, the 3% of the population who earn 10 times more than the other 97% of the population combined, have goals. They know exactly where they want to go and where they want to be at any given moment of time.
I'm so sorry for interrupting you on this one, but this is something I struggle with so hard is actually setting goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have them clearly defined in my head, I just never write them down.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a problem?
I'll answer it and then you can decide. 84% of the population don't have goals. So that's not you.
Okay.
13% of the population have goals, they're just not in writing. But on average, they earn twice as much as the 84% combined. Or if you put them down following a formula, and that's probably the only thing that you don't have is a formula. If you follow the Gosper model, you'll move into the 3%. And that 3% earns 10 times more than the 97% combined. So the only step that you've got to do now is to put them in a formula. And that's tough, because when you try to do it yourself, you're the fish in the water. And that's, as coaching, you get out and you go, okay, what do you got to do? What can't you see? And then you have your daily list of activities and actions to attack it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
It's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But I think for most people in this room, you're probably in that 13%. You know what you want, you just haven't committed to paper. Would that be fair to say? Yeah. Yeah. It's not bad, right or wrong. It's just...
I do have it somewhat written down.
What's your dad's name? What's your dad's name?
John.
John, did Jason, he said, Jason, come and sit on my knee and let's talk about goals. Did you do that? No, I didn't think so. My dad didn't do it either. And he's a lovely guy. But it's not a conversation we have around the dinner table.
Understood.
Yep. Very rarely. Did it happen in your family? Let's write goals. It happens in my family.
And then your parents, like, or model of the world, like, it's put on you as well. Because I think my dad must fear success or something. Because the moment that I started doing well, he kind of like was like, yo. Or the moment that I actually tried to do well, he was like, yeah, like, look, be careful, like, you know, trying to drag me back down a bit of Sparky, which is not a bad thing. But I think their model of the world gets pushed on you, and then...
Yep, it happens. And the other thing that happens is that fears can be passed down through 3 generations. So you might have a fear of success that's not attributed to you. It could have been something that happened in the family. I remember when I got married and I was in Dubai, and it was just after 2010, the GFC, and I started to say this to my wife. No, I didn't say that, but I did. I said, we need to tighten our belts. I said, we need to tighten our belts. Times are tough. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, times are tough. We've got to stop expenditure. We can't go out for dinner. Shouldn't be going to the movies. We've got to save money. She goes, what's got into you? She goes, who says this? And I said, no, we've got to tighten the belts. This is what we've got to do. We're married now. We've got to save for the future. And she was like, you're possessed. And I said, I think I am. And I thought about it, and I rang Mum, and I was like, Mum, what is this tighten the belt? She goes, well, when your dad and I bought the pump trucks in 1986, 1987, we'd bought a new house, we just bought a bunch of plant equipment, and for the first month in business, it rained. And we had to be frugal. We had to tighten the belts. We couldn't spend like we were before. But I'd carried on that belief. And I'm like, well, where did you get it from? She goes, well, your grandmother would have said it to me. I said, well, why would have she said it? Well, because we grew up in the recession. Your grandfather was in the RAF. We moved from house to house. And in the RAF, you don't have money. So what do you got to do? You got to tighten your belts. You got to save. So I asked my grandmother. And I said, this belief has been transferred through the family. She goes, well, when I was in year 6, your great-grandfather walked away from the family, and there were 6 of us. And it was just after the Depression. We didn't know when we were going to get our next meal. So we had to tighten the belt. So what was happening in my life was attributed to something generationally. So your father's probably learnt it from somebody else. The majority of people who are fearing snakes and spiders have never seen a snake or a spider. But they've seen somebody respond to it. But it gets worse today because we see it on TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had a lady at a training recently, Luke and I worked with her, age 34, and she wanted to die. I said, do you want to die? She goes, yep. She goes, there's nothing to live for. So we started to look at her personal history. She had no goals, which means you have no future, by the way, if there's no goals. And then we went back and I said, what prevents you from moving on out of this destructive relationship where your partner's been with 10 other women and you've done nothing about it? Oh, I'm a Christian. And I said, what? I said, you're a Christian. I said, where does it say in the Bible that you have to tolerate that behaviour? She said, well, that's what Christians do. We forgive and forget. I said, no, you forgive, but you don't forget, because when you forget, you keep putting yourself in that same situation. But that wasn't the problem. But there was a belief about religion, but she used the religion as an excuse. So using timeline therapy and regression techniques, we got back to the time of that limiting decision. Now, what preceded that limiting decision was at age 6 months, her parents were drug addicts and they gave up the children. And the grandmother come and saved the children because they were half caste, half black, half white, living in South Africa. And they took them out of a basket where they were surrounded by wild dogs. And then they took them and raised them. So they didn't know their parents. So how do you know your parents? You look at photos, you watch videos. And at 3.5 years of age, her and her sister were watching this video of them getting married. They knew mum and dad were divorced. They watched the video and said, we will never get divorced. And that belief came back 27, 28 years later. But she'd forgotten it. So these fears come from earlier on, but they can be passed down. They can be learned by the movies we watch on TV. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between something that you imagine to be true or something that is fact. So challenge everything. And then you've got to take action. Action is the cornerstone of all success. You might have goals, but if you never take action towards them, you'll never move. But people don't take action because they fear obstacles. Obstacles are a sign of success. If your car's in the garage, you're never going to get caught in a traffic jam. But a car is designed to be driven. You've got brakes so you can stop, you've got indicators so you can change directions, and you can go many different directions. And then sensory acuity. We've got to be able to look around and gauge the environment. That's why we learned sensory acuity. But we have to be able to gauge ourselves and identify our own mental blocks. Fourth is behavioural flexibility. It's being willing to sit on Jason's knee without fearing him. It's about doing all those things. See, everybody in here could earn $1 million a year. Do you believe that? Is there people out there earning $1 million a year in your field? What's the highest earner in your field earn?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably in the billions if you go to the field. Like marathon is econ.
Field is it?
So he's taken action, hasn't he? If you took the identical actions, you'd get a very similar result. But most people don't have the energy to take action. The majority of people give up before their first attempt. So you've got to have behavioural flexibility. You do have demons, you do have skeletons in the closet. When you face them, you can do something about them. But if you leave that closet locked, you never get to unlock and get access to everything else. Brian Tracy says success is like a combination lock, just has a few more numbers in it. And these are the 5 numbers in this order. And then fifthly, you have to have a physiology and a psychology of excellence. The psychology of excellence is free from limiting decisions. It's free from mental or emotional blocks. It's free of glass ceilings. And they're all the things that we have to remove, aren't they, Charlie? Yeah, they're all the things that we have to do. So they're the 5 principles of success. Know your outcome for business this year. Take action each and every day. Have the ability to look around. Is my action getting me closer towards my goal or further away? It can only go in either or direction. Getting me closer or getting me further away. Have behavioural flexibility. Do all those things that you fear. Because they're the only things that are holding you back. Like the Wolf of Wall Street says, it's just your bullshit story. And then 5th is the psychology of excellence, but also physiology. Do you think McGregor and Mayweather are going to go into the fight like this today? Oh shit, I'm going to get the shit beaten out of me. He's already lost. What's he doing? He's just dancing around the ring. And that's how you've got to go into life. You've got to have flexibility and a psychology and physiology of excellence. So what I want you to do now, open up your manuals and let's go through this and let's implement this into our businesses today. So page 11, and Buzz, seeing he's got his mouth open,
Yeah.
you can come up the front. I thought you were saying yes to be my volunteer subject. If you can bring up your manual, I'll give you a demonstration on how this works. And we're just going to stay big picture. Good to see you. Looking sharp.
Thank you.
Okay. We're just going to ask these questions in order and sequence. What is the most important aim, goal or objective you have for this financial year? I just want one.
To get my physios fully booked out.
Okay. We'll stay big picture for this one. And what action can you take today to get one step closer to having your physios fully booked out?
Investing the right amount of time in their professional education.
Investing time in professional education. Good. How will you know when you're moving towards that goal of investing time in their professional education? How will you know?
Just by the schedule that I'm scheduling in time to invest in their education, and I'll know that I'm moving towards the ultimate goal of getting them fully booked when I see that their numbers increase per week. And also for professional education, people start to comment on their knowledge and their service.
Excellent. So comments on knowledge and service also. Excellent. So what's happening is you're just starting to formulate success in your mind. Do this, do this, do this. And what must you do that you don't want to do to achieve your goal of having physios fully booked?
Stop treating patients and start investing time in them.
So the most successful business people on the planet, they spend the majority of the time working on the business. So the difference is when you're working in the business, you're only worth $115 per session.
Yep.
115 per session. But if you're always in there, you can't grow the business. So in a year's time, you're going to be in the same place. And what successful business people do is they allocate time to work on the business, where they're totally removed from any technical or hands-on work, and they grow the business. So the formula, according to Michael Gerber, is about 33% of the time working hands-on in the business, about 33% of the time managing your business, and 33% of the time working on the business. So what positive expectations and attitudes will you require to achieve your goal of having your...
That I need to believe that taking time away from me making money and investing time in them making money will help me get towards my goal.
Excellent. And what mental blocks or self-limiting beliefs will you need to let go of to achieve your aims, goals or objectives?
That I need to let go. That people only want to see Buzz and not the other physios.
Good job. So what is your focal point? What is your X for the coming year?
In terms of results or in terms of...
So on here,
Yeah.
where have you got to place your X? Where does all of your focus have to be on right now?
all the physios.
The physios, good. So the focus is on the physios. Good. So this is just creating your own blueprint. It's very simple. And then later on you can fill it out and get more specific. Good job.
Thank you.
Before you go into the exercise, I'd like you to find somebody else in the room, somebody that you didn't come here with, somebody that you haven't worked with already, and let them pull you out of your water and then pull them out of the water. You should be able to do this in about 5 minutes each. Very quickly go through. Any questions before you begin? Good. So It is now 10 past. Let's kick back off at 20 past. Away you go. Okay, how was the exercise, Leones? What did you learn?
Good. It makes you stop and think outside of yourself.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
I
it?
get caught up. I get caught up in myself too much.
Yep. The thing is, we're inside of our body all the time, and it's really tough to think out, because what we tend to do is we keep asking ourselves the same question. Why don't I have this? Why didn't I get that? It's just often that we're asking the wrong questions. Just like a doctor. He might be able to operate on a heart. He might be the best brain surgeon in the world, but to hell can he operate on himself? And you're the same. You've got to pull yourself out and get some help. See, help has become a dirty word these days. People don't want to ask for help. But it's not a dirty word. Help is a sign of strength. Only strong people ask for help. Remember that. There's very few strong people, and most of them are in this room today. You're strong. You're here. Good. Career. How was it?
It was good. I worked it out.
And what did you work out?
Like what I wanted. You want me to say things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you want?
So my aims and my goals, my outcome for the year is to become injury-free again, and to also start to teach more private.
Oh.
What is that not?
Okay, everybody. I want you to look up. That's okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You've done a big favour for everybody. I want you to look around the room and say to yourself, don't look for pink. Look around the room, don't look for pink. Don't look for pink. Don't look for pink. Don't look for pink. When you're saying don't look for pink, what did you find? Pink. So if you don't want to have injuries, what will you end up with? Injuries. Excellent. So we're going to learn another strategy in a moment, but I'll give it to you in advance. Say it how you want it. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy.
Daniel,
Yes.
I don't know where I heard this, but the brain doesn't register the word, kind of like negative words like that. So that when you do say, I don't want to see pink, like your brain reads, I want to see pink.
Yep. I don't want to tell you that you look great today.
Thanks, bud.
I'll give you the answer. Next strategy. Don't think about it. Next.
I tried to just listen to you. Not think about my
Tried. It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. I don't want anybody to have fun today. Any learnings? Any new learnings? Any ideas? Okay. Next table. Anything else? Any actions? Any self-limiting beliefs?
Often the negativity of our own self-talk is the roadblock.
Yeah, I'm definitely my own barrier.
Getting over that and creating a different story in your mind that you can achieve it, it is possible.
Is there things that you say in your mind that you'd actually never say to another human? Is there things that you say to yourself that you'd never say to your children? We talk to ourselves, we beat ourselves up on a constant basis. You fucking idiot, what the fuck did you do that for? And we've got this little internal chatter. But what happens is that internal chatter, whether it's real or not, becomes real. So we're going to be very mindful of it. So we'll give you some techniques on how to do that. So if you've got a self-limiting belief, a mental block or a glass ceiling, and you want to talk about it today, pull me across to the side and I'll talk to you about it. There's only 3 things you need to do to get rid of them. It's very simple. Very simple. Beautiful. Anything else, gentlemen? Ladies? Any other insights?
No, for me, it's being a bit more confident in dealing with people. What I was saying before is like, in my work, dealing with someone that's like an owner of like 400 people and they need a sign done. And it's just, being confident to talk to someone that's running like a high successful business, where it's just me. Trying to be there's like no, in this kind of situation, no levels. It should just be like an even level of just dealing with service, where I just sort of let them tell me everything and I'm just like sitting there, just sort of, as we're going back to like the rapport, it's just like dealing with the product that's needed rather than who's higher, who's lower. You know what I mean?
Write this down. This is a really good one. If you're starting out in business, if you want better results, enthusiasm outsells experience 10 to 1. If somebody's coming along and they're enthusiastic, they've got an open mind, they're willing to do whatever it takes, they will produce better results. I learned that at the age of 19, and I sold a lot of real estate against competitors who were in the field for 10 or 20 years because they lost their enthusiasm. They'd come into people's homes with their big bellies and sit there. They lost the enthusiasm, they lost their drive. Kevin, would you want to see enthusiastic people work for you? Do you like enthusiasm? Attitude. 3 things: knowledge, skill and attitude. There's only 3 things that contribute to success: knowledge, skill and attitude. Knowledge is the foundation of all success. Then you need to have skills to use in your workplace, and then you have to have a positive mental attitude. Skill and knowledge only equates to 15% of your success, but attitude is 85% of your success. So be confident, be enthusiastic, and you'll win all the business that you want. Excellent.